Welcome back, everyone, to the Hearthstone Grandmasters of the Americas region. Our second match is our featured one, Zalae versus Purple. Another Rogue versus Warrior, but we'll talk a little bit more about the nuances of both their deck, as they are not very, they're not super similar to the previous matchup. They have a lot of their specific tech choices.
Yeah, and I think the biggest one would probably have to be Zalae's choice for Sea Giants in his rogue list, and also just the crazy tertiary deck that he brought with Barista Lynchen, Grawl the Shark, Harrison Jones, and Geppetto Joybuzz.
Yeah, it's very greedy.
I mean, talk about value, talk about greed. It is the greediest rogue list I've seen in a very long time, Dan.
All right, well, let's go ahead and check out these players and what they had to say going to our second feature match.
My name is Paul Nemeth, aka Zalae.
Hi, my name is Ryan Murphy-Root. I go by Purple.
The thing I'm most looking forward to in Hearthstone Grandmasters is beating my opponents to a pulp. Just kind of physically dominating them, you know?
So I like waking up like super early in the morning, and then I stream 4 or 5 hours or so Hearthstone, get some foods, and take a nap.
What are you afraid of?
Snakes, the dark.
Hearthstone's very complicated, and an effective strategy for me is to try and simplify it. I play my minions so they're in play, I hit my opponent in the face so he has less life. I focus on the fact that tempo is good.
Unique to me is I see shifts in patterns in the game where it is no longer possible to win the traditional way. I just start moving towards plan B pretty quickly. My initial thoughts on the players on the division, geez, well, we got some good players, we got some bad players, we got some medium players. Please don't ask me more.
My rival in the division would absolutely have to be Purple. We stream together a lot. We love to argue about every stupid little thing. Purple loves nothing more than beating me in general. Whether it's in Hearthstone, in stream numbers, anything, he always wants to beat me very badly. So we have a great rivalry.
Who's the easiest win in your division?
It's a lie. I hang out with him so much that it's I'll know what all the cards in his hand, right? Me and Zalae spend so many hours a week together. Over the years, we've done like a gazillion hours. It's not even a real number. That's how many hours, right? I'll have all the soul reads on Zalae. No chance.
The worst thing I've ever lost to Purple at would probably be ping pong. He's pretty freaking good. He hits the ball well, like quickly and accurately at the table. So it hits the table, and then it's hard for me to return because he hit it so quickly.
Zalae will never know it's what I got because I'm just a troll. I don't actually make real plays anymore.
Fortunately for Purple, you do not need a lot of physical strength in order to hit a ping pong ball quickly. I have a huge advantage over Purple because he is so much physically weaker than me, and that is the key to success in Hearthstone. Physical strength over everything.
A lot of literal fighting words from Zalae coming out against Purple, saying that he wants to physically assert dominance over him.
I don't think the internet has reached the point where that's possible yet, Dan, but
I think it has.
I'm willing to be surprised.
I think it has. Zalae is very scary opponent, both, I guess, in and out of game, apparently. Let's take a look at his deck lists. He is not necessarily playing the strong, raw power. He's playing more of the finesse deck with the Rogue. I think the onus is on Rogue to make sure that they're putting out the really good power tempo plays. And then Warrior just kind of sits back and just plays keep away for a while until they're able to inevitably win back the board.
Yeah.
So it's funny that Zalae wants to be aggressive towards Purple, and yet he's also playing the aggressive deck in this matchup.
Yeah, and it's weird because this deck has an interesting way of going about aggression. It doesn't happen quickly, but it happens all at once. And that's kind of the scary part. And we heard Strifecrow talk about the matchup. Now, Strifecrow, Bloody Face had a little bit different of a deck than Zalae. Zalae has even more value pumped into the deck.
That tertiary deck, TJ, that is looking spicy.
Oh, yes. And I can't wait to see that one in action. But even just the primary deck, Strifecrow was saying sometimes in his practice he ran out of resources, and that's because the Rogue just doesn't run out of resources. It feels like they always have something to do because of you know, half their cards, either drawing a card or giving them a card. And sometimes more than one card because of Spirit of the Shark. So very cool stuff.
Yeah, and yet we also saw the Rogue fatigue down, basically.
Yes.
At the end of game number 1. Purple's deck is the Bomb Warrior, but I like it because it's a lot leaner. It's got Azalina Soul Thief. You know, it's got the Archivist Elysiana with the C4 Bomber if he needs it. But you kind of heard Purple joking about it before. He felt like he wasn't really taking Hearthstone super seriously for a while. I was like, yeah, I don't even really make serious plays anymore.
Yeah.
And what he means by that is Purple likes to set up for like high risk, very high reward, and high potential for memery plays, which makes it very entertaining stream. Not exactly what you're looking for the Grandmasters, and as a result, I don't think necessarily it's his plays that lead him to 1-3. I think it's a combination of poor matchups, maybe a couple of choices for deck lists and whatnot. And maybe that'll come to play here once again, because I'm giving the nod to Zalae's Rogue here for this head-to-head.
Yeah, I will also. Now, Purple, I think, does have a slight... the Azalina tech makes things interesting, right? Because I think the way that the Rogue beats the Warriors by kind of draining them out of resources, by keep presenting boards that are annoying, but boards that also need removal. And Azalina Soul Thief allows Purple to just remove everything and then play Azalina to kind of get all of these damage cards that Zalae has been holding up and kill him on the backswing. It's a very interesting tech inclusion, and it has the potential to win Purple some games, but it also is all about timing, and I think that's kind of the point of this matchup in general, is it's all about timing.
Yeah, well said. Speaking of timing, Zalae has a hand that's very awkward, and it's going to be difficult to land that timing very precisely. Everything kind of requires another card to make it super effective. So Vendetta needs another card from another class. SA7 Agent needs a combo activator along with Van Cleave.
Yeah.
Spirit of Shark doesn't really do anything too much with his hand outside of Van Cleave. Sea Giant. Sea Giant's funny because I think it's a cool inclusion if you anticipate going up against the mages. But if you know that you're going up against other warriors and rogues, feels like Sea Giant isn't super good.
Admirable hates it. Beyond hates it.
Yeah.
Like, it's been at least a week before I've seen Admirable hate something more than he hates Sea Giant and Rogue.
He wants nothing more to rip off the Sea Giant like a bad toenail.
So many options.
That's right. A weird analogy choice, but very correct. Removed it from the deck instantly when he started practicing with it, and I said, that's not the point. the point is to practice the deck.
Yeah,
he said, I can't even get efficient practice because I'm so upset that Sea Giant's in the list.
He's trying to optimize the deck list. It's like we're trying to assume the role of the player here.
Very funny nonetheless. But, you know, sometimes against Warrior, you know, you get a lot of lackeys on board that they don't want to remove, and then you can play an 8/8 for 5 or 6 mana. But a lot of the times it does sit in the hand at very expensive, because oftentimes the Warrior's not going to let you have a wide board for very long, because Dynomatic, Brawl, Warpath. So definitely not for this matchup, and, you know, it'd be much better served as something else. Like a Grawl the Shark, or a Geppetto Joy Buzz, or a Barista Lynchin. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see that as time continues. For now, Zalae plays the Hedge Clan Burger and gets some very interesting cards. We're trying to zoom in on that. Zoom in, enhance!
Enhance!
We'll first start with the zoom. Okay, nope, not that, not that zoom.
So I don't know what these cards are, because even though I can read the name, because I can't see the top of the card, I have no idea.
Yeah. Oh, Dimensional Ripper costs 1 mana.
Whoa! That's insane!
All jokes aside, Luna's Pocket Galaxy with a deck that has a lot of mint generation. Okay,
keep trying. Try one more time. Let's see if it's there.
Bloodlust is also something to Bloodlust is also something worth considering, because if you're going to build a giant lackey board, you can actually threaten to kill your opponent. There is case for all 3 of those cards too, because I know Ripper obviously.
Luna's Pocket Galaxy is probably the choice that I would have made, Because if all things go awry and you never stick a board, at least all your minions cost 1. You know? Yeah, it's a weird thing because your minions are cheap anyway. But
No, you're right. Because
having a 1-mana Hearthstone Togwaggle, very underrated.
well, yeah, because then you can Shadow Step immediately play it. In fact, you can Shadow
Yeah.
Step it again and play it again. Because it's 1/4/6.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you can
1/4/4.
You could play a Lackey, Hearthstone Togwaggle, Shadow Step, Hearthstone Togwaggle.
Right.
Yeah. See, tough things to think about, but ooh, charge.
Oh, we got Rush. Oh.
Still upset.
The start of this game. A little rough around the edges, but good stuff all around, TJ. High five. Or not. It's cool.
I high-fived you. You have nothing to prove me wrong.
Imagine if you could Edwin. Imagine if you could, like, Shark, Edwin, and then Charge Face.
Once upon a time, Dan.
Yeah.
Didn't it used to cost 0?
Wait. If you play Leroy and you play Charge on it, does that mean
You
Leroy
can't attack face anymore?
Face anymore?
Oh, man. What a card. What a card.
Sorry.
Many options.
All right, Zalae, is he going for the Van Cleef? Whew. So this Van Cleef should get pumped up
It's a
by
10-10, I believe?
4 twice, so 10-10.
That's a big, bad Van Cleef. That's a big, bad Blastmaster Boom.
Yep, 3 bombs in, 3 bombs out. There's a lot of board tension here.
Oh, yeah. Sea Admirable?
I
Look
mean,
at that Sea
A
Giant.
Sea Giant with Charge here, unironically, looks very good.
It does. Yeah, you can still push 10 damage.
Well, how much damage does Zalae even have? Let's say if he Life Drinkers and Bloodlust, that's 16 plus 6, 22, 23 damage.
Yep. Doesn't have the mana to do that, but still has a very powerful turn. Also,
Alright.
Spirit of the Shark is still on the board. He could even double Vendetta
Yeah.
this Dr. Boom.
Well, Free Giant comes down, and Charge gives it the ability to rush a minion. And with these double Vendetta, it doesn't even have to trade in anymore.
4 lackeys from this Evil Miscreant. No Ethereal. Ooh, that's actually...
Oh.
The funny
So-
thing he can do is he can get Grave Horror from his Sea Giant, because... Wait,
Right.
no, because it doesn't upgrade the first time, because there's no 11 minions, so it can't skip.
Yeah, Snow Fury
So it would still
Giant
be a Sea Giant.
gets Unseen Savage
Huh.
4, Faceless Lackey. Doesn't get the second 2-drop, but gets a stealth minion with Divine
Wow.
Shield. Purple's like
What a turn!
bored.
Look at that. What? For 7 mana, Zalae developed an 8/8, a 5/6, a 1/2 stealth, drew 2 cards,
Okay.
created 4 lackeys.
Well, hold on. I mean, it ain't over till the fat lady sings, TJ, and I think the boom bots here could still do a lot of work.
I mean,
That said, this Van Cleef's not going down.
yeah, but he can start picking apart the board state, and Dynomatic can help even more so with that.
That's not good, though. Yeah, Dynomatic is okay, but
So many targets to hit, like it's hard to guarantee the damage. I even think Militia Commander would be better with the mana.
yeah, Militia Commander with Ziliax with the Magnetic. That's some trade in. So he gains 4 life, pushes in. Doesn't look like Zalae has lethal to me.
Well, the healing, if you Bloodlust, the healing is negated
'Cause
from the Divine Shield.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
So then he has 13 plus 8, that's 21 with Bloodlust plus 2. So he's still a little bit off.
Yep. Just tiny bit off from our initial calculation,
But-
unless we're missing something.
Bloodlust seems like a good use here because you do get to negate the healing from the
So many
Ziliax bomb.
options.
You're still pushing a ton of damage with double Life Drinker in hand. So I honestly think Bloodlust is not getting much better than this situation. And then it's about where do you spend the additional 3 mana.
Well, what you could alternatively do as well is just like set it up.
So many options.
You could be right, but Bloodlust is only doing 6 damage in this spot,
Well, it's
and you're not developing on the board.
It's technically doing 10 because you're negating the heal from the Boombot. Now you have other ways to do that, but is it more efficient?
Okay. All right, you sold me. When you start contextualizing with reducing the heal,
Yeah.
I can buy it. It's just that, like, you know, you could SI and develop a little bit more onto the board instead, and then Bloodlust has higher upside. But you saw that Purple didn't brawl the previous turn. It's unlikely that he has it this turn too. And this is also 1 mana crystal off from the Omega Devastators getting online. I think Purple might have to go for a bomb out.
I mean, he's got 4 bombs in the deck, so he's got a bomb out regardless. It's a very, very, very slim chance. Doesn't even see it. I mean, astronomically low chance.
Right.
0.001 to get 4 bombs in a row. I actually know he drew a bomb, so there's only 3. I don't even think he had a bomb plan.
Could be right. But, you know, Purple not going to even really play it out. Knows that he is very likely to be dead in almost every case and scenario.
Yeah.
And that's going to be game number 1 to the Rogue. And that's kind of what I expected a little bit more of. I like that aggressive Shark into Van Cleef play. That was something that I wasn't immediately eyeing, but it makes sense given that 10-10 is still very hard to remove.
Yeah.
The Warriors don't really play the Executes. Purple was a Warrior that did play Execute in the past, but does not have it this week in his deck list, and fully capitalizing onto the lack of removal.
Yeah, and it's not like Zalae had that many more access to resources than Bloodyface did in our first series of the day.
Right.
He did have Sea Giant, which helped a lot, but just you can see a little bit more of how this matchup tends to operate when both players on kind of even footing. Yeah, so yeah, this is my experience from playing the deck is just making a giant Edwin early on and having a million lackeys and pushing damage, and they just run out of stuff to do.
All right, well, that's just the first game of this best 3. When we come back, we'll see if Zalae can continue to physically dominate Purple.
Dalaran will be ours! Once we land, you know what to do! No we don't. You didn't tell us to play it. I didn't think I had to. It's perfectly obvious. Bank! I am to be robbing the bank! I take henchmen for vault smashing and shiny stealing! Plan is obvious! It's a start, yes, but...
You won't get a single coin unless you take care of the city's guards. Let's rip open Violet Hole and unleash the prisoners on the city. That'll keep the guards busy.
Certainly, but that's not...
No! First, we must sow chaos in the streets.
I got rockets. Anyone need rockets? Try to see the big picture. Shiny, shiny, shiny.
We have to break their will before we can loot, you fools!
Please, everyone, please. Let's drop some rockets to the city. Oh, big candle. And then we just take the whole shebang wherever we want. Yes! Finally, you're exactly right.
Seriously? That's dumb.
Weak candle. Just wait till second gear kicks in. It's just like I said. We're going to take Dalaran for all that it's got. It's a genius plan. It's simple. It should have been obvious. And absolutely nothing will go wrong.
So, genius, how do we land?
My name is Casper. My alias is Hunter-Ace. My username actually goes way, way back. I didn't actually come up with it myself. My father is like somewhat of a gamer and he had like his own gaming stuff. But what I did was I just stole one of his tags and used it for myself.
So Hunter is really your dad?
Well, not anymore. Right now I reached like my ultimate goal for this year. We happened to win the World Championship and that was like That was like the biggest thing, so I'm like still extremely happy about that. I think that the Grandmaster program provides an exciting opportunity to be able to play like high competition Hearthstone every week. Only competing against the EU players to start with is going to be a very difficult job, and it's going to be super hard to be like one of the standout performers and then qualify to the global finals. I would have to stay at my best to be able to qualify.
A battle between tertiary decks and a battle between friends, Purple and Zalae, going to deck number 3. And with Zalae, we previewed a little bit of it. It's got all of their favorite legendaries that you probably dusted by accident thinking that they would never be playable in Standard. That's not true when it comes to Specialist format. That's where cards like Grawl the Shark, Barista Lynchin, and Geppetto Joypuz, when you know you can get away with it, become very effective. In fact, Grawl the Shark, TJ, was one of the highly rated cards by a lot of the pros in Roscon's Rumble set, saying Grawl the Shark is going to be an extremely powerful tempo play, and never saw a lot of the play that it really was worthy of the hype.
No, because in tempo decks, a lot of times you have a lot of cheap minions that Grawl the Shark just doesn't have a lot of value with. But when
you put the darkness in there.
Oh yeah. Dan and I played a show match at the Taiwan All-Stars event. And I Grawl the Shark Darkness and killed him on turn 5.
Yeah.
So that was a fun experience.
Yeah, it was a 22 damage shark.
It was a 22 damage shark, and he had no chance.
I had no remove.
It wasn't because I told him right before the game took place, don't mulligan for Hex.
Well, I did help mulligan for Hex.
Oh, did you?
And I still lost.
Well, that's the other card that would have dealt with it. But getting into this match, the crazy combos that have been pulled off. Spirit of the Shark on 4, Grawl the Shark on 5 means that you eat 2 minions, you draw this 2. So it's a giant minion that also has the value behind it. Now, Purple has made the read, obviously, that Zalae would switch to his tertiary deck. So Purple has also switched to his tertiary deck, which seems like a deck that's designed for Mage. It's taking out Weapons Project, Acolyte of Pain, Harrison Jones, and Azalina, cards that you think would be pretty decent against Rogue in place of Slam, Big Game Hunter, Brawl, and Super Collider. He knows that Zalae switching to his tertiary deck took out Waggle Picks, Sea Giant, and Life Drinker. So he knows that like Super Collider, Brawl are going to be really important to deal with just the bigger, more valuable stuff that Zalae can play. So honestly, a smart choice, but still, I abandoned Zalae.
I mean, there's just so much greed.
Look at that hand. That's not a Rogue hand. I mean, it is because it has Rogue cards, but you know what I mean.
No, I know exactly what you mean. It seems like it's got so much greed and value that it might have a risk of beating itself again, because Zalae doesn't have like the traditionally powerful stuff, right? Like, you know, normally if you're going up against rogues on ladder, they're already by turn 4 starting to pressure, you know, with the Waggle Picks and other stuff of that nature. By giving time to Purple, if he can find Dr. Boom Mad Genius, I still think that he has a pretty decent fighting chance.
Yeah.
And I only say that because the games that I won as the Warrior yesterday in my playtest, both on ladder and within our little practice group, was because I had Dr. Boom those games. And I think that still rings true, especially in a matchup like this where it's very value and tempo oriented. And now Zalae in a spot where he could fight for tempo. He could play like Harrison Jones on curve if he'd want to. He can also just take it a little bit slower. Maybe do the halfway play like SI up for on the board for tempo and read dagger.
Yeah.
Can also play even slower, which I feel like you wouldn't recommend, because as the rogue, if you play a little bit too slow, you give Warrior the opportunity to drop things preemptively for tempo, and then all of a sudden you're behind. And remember, Zalae, he's a little bit light on the removal spells, a little bit more heavy on the big, fat value legendaries.
Yeah, even the deck in general, like, cuts eviscerates, cuts preps, cuts sap. So its ability to, like, fight back on the board is limited to the things that they pick up from Life Drinker and Henchclan Burglar, or sorry, Blinkbox and Henchclan Burglar, and Vendetta. Like, that's it. So he's going to go for that kind of midway point that you mentioned, which is just the SI7 agent. Realize Harrison Jones kind of too valuable as a weapon removal. Spear of the Shark, he doesn't want to throw it out in case of Dinomatic. Shield block's a little too slow. So now that he's seen Dinomatic, maybe a little bit more wiggle room to play the Shark, try and set things up for it.
Yeah.
Because right now, his other plays are nothing. He could Heistbear Togwaggle and Shadow Step it, Dan, to make it 2 cheaper. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your opponent played 1 Dinomatic. Does that make you feel safer playing Spear of the Shark? They are coming up on 6 mana, so Warpath would be a clear. You also have to kind of identify what warrior deck purple is likely to play, and there's no guarantee of that right now, because everything is still relatively innocuous. The way we can define purple's tertiary deck is if he sees that slam on the far left.
Or Super Collider.
Or Super Collider.
That belongs in a museum.
Wow.
Mr. Jones comes out. Looks like Zalae's done waiting. He wants to start fighting for tempo immediately. And this makes sense, because if he starts picking up other cards, let's say he picks up Evil Miscreant, he's actually going to start running into hand space issues.
Yeah.
So utilizing this right now is Zalae saying, I have a likelihood of drawing into really good cards next turn.
Zalae, you can see him as soon as he sees the slam. Looks over at the at what I assume would be the screen with the deck list on it.
Right.
I don't think he was expecting this. I definitely was not expecting this.
Purple's secondary and tertiary deck choices have been very interesting. Like, I remember we were talking about how he's going up against Monsanto, and he was like up 1-0 and then chose a deck list that was a lot more bomb-oriented than removal-oriented.
Yeah.
Which was fascinating to me, because I thought that he just wanted to play more removal-oriented. And then he switched decks later on for game 3.
So we thought on broadcast, we're like, oh, he must have just queued the wrong deck. Like it was, just a mistake on his part, misordering his deck. And he's like, no,
yeah,
TJ and Frodan, I definitely queued the right deck. But then he switched for game 3.
Right. So then it's like you changed your opinion halfway through. But, again, maybe he had an idea that just didn't pan out.
Yeah.
Realized his mistake and fixed it. Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Witchy Lackey here is all right, but he has even better upside with Witchy Lackey if he plays the Togwaggle next turn. But then he would want to Shadow Step it, wouldn't he?
I would think so.
Let's say he holds the Witchy Lackey. Next turn he could play Lackey, Heistbear, and Togwaggle, double evolve it. I don't know. And now purple has the Warpath.
Yeah. A very small board to Warpath, but honestly, with how many big minions Zalae has in his deck, Warpath doesn't get that much value. Spirit of the Shark is probably the most frightening card in the deck, I'd say.
Okay. Well, Zalae has Joy Buzz available this turn, and the Barista. Serving up a nice, hot, steaming dark black coffee, I guess, in the tavern. That's safe to say, right?
Sure.
A 1-mana Grawl. Wow. Okay, there is some explosive potential in Zalae's hand right now, to say the least. And if he still had that Shark, it would be ridiculous. Not to mention that Geppetto also had a chance of drawing 2 more minions, making them 1/1s. 3 bombs being shuffled in for purple here.
I think those are the only bomb cards he's played. He has Liberation Caliber. I don't think the first Coffle Goblins come out. So he's just setting up for the Blastmaster Boom going to the next turn.
Also, this is pretty decent for tempo.
Oh. I don't even know where to begin, Dan.
So I think I trade and then evolve with the Witchy Lackey first with the Zalae. See what you get. Then maybe go for a Heistbear and Togwaggle, and then you can Goblin Lackey, trade, and then Shadow Step the Heistbear And then that gives you 1 mana remaining. I guess you could Grawl.
I guess.
I don't know. It's because you do need to make hand space.
You could go for a big Barista Lynchen play, but then you can't combo with High Spirit
many
Togwaggle.
options.
So if you go for your play and Shadow Step it, then you can fit it in, because High Spirit Togwaggle's 4 mana, the Barista's 5, so you can even fit in like the 1 mana, like Life Trick or Grawl. I think, yeah, an 8/8's pretty large and in charge, and Zalae does need to think about Super Collider positioning here. He saw the slam, so he knows that it's the tertiary deck with double Super Collider.
Right. Okay. So it looks like Zalae not going for the Goblin Lackey High Spirit Togwaggle setup. Might just be okay with leaving
Xerox
the
Crown?
Augmented Elec. Wow, okay, the Crown. See, I was anticipating him going for the Wand because he has a Barista, so he can go for cheap tempo play and then invest with the Barista to go for value, so that way he's not falling too far behind on the resource count. Instead, he chooses the discovered 2 legendaries. So, what do you make of that, TJ?
His hand is very full, and it's good. The moment he plays Barista Lynchen, it's going to be even more full.
Right, which is why I feel like you lean into that, right? If you play the Wondrous Wand, get a bunch of cards for free, play all those cards, then Barista and get them back into your hand, you not only developed amazing tempo, you also have a high amount of resources in your hand.
What now?
True.
That was the logic that I was thinking. But then Zalae says that if I get this Discovered Legendaries, I might be able to just win like that.
Yeah,
right
and I think
now.
he has like enough value with Barista already to go for that line of play.
Okay. Zalae holding on to a Shield Slam. Could have utilized it and saved a little bit board space. But wants to maximize his bomb presence. Okay, so the Barista gives us back all of these minions. For people who are not familiar, Barista Lynchen gives you a copy of all Battlecry minions that are on your board. So in this case, every single one of them. Onyxia also does it. Zalae could also go for like Barista and then combo all this up with like the Lackey itself.
Oh.
Is he just going for the Barista right here, right now?
I think so.
I like it. Trade in with
He has enough hand
of these
space for
one-
all of this stuff. But
Yeah.
maybe he wants to trade one in and then
Double pump Azarano
Brawl and then go for it?
Right up.
Yeah, I mean, even without the Wondrous Wand, he still has very, very solid hand. Oh my gosh.
Shadow Step 1!
Shadow Step 1. Should you not Shadow Step 1? He did.
Should!
Okay. So even despite the fact that he went for a little bit, he went for a play that requires, you know, the Discover to be pretty solid, he still has good tempo going. Purple going with what looks like to be a Brawl.
Oh, he can Brawl, set up Wrench Caliber.
Well, this could be lethal. There's 5 bombs.
5 bombs.
It could be lethal. They all deal 4.
It even has 3 damage banked up as well with the Wrench Caliber.
A bomb survives.
3.
So it can't
3.
kill him.
4. 3. Nah, you
Wait, Shield Slam? Oh, he doesn't have no armor.
He has no armor. But if a bomb's on here, there's 3 in the deck still, I believe.
Zalae has 9 cards? Holy Roy.
Woo!
But now he's just gonna die to 4 damage, maybe even more. Purple has upside of Shield Slam his own minion. He can magnetize with Ziliax. Zalae played so much into the value that he's just gonna die.
I wonder.
The Life Drinker helps keep him a little bit alive.
Grawl the Shark.
I think he wishes he had the ability to go for like the Shark right here. The Shark plus the Life Drink would be massive. Blake Fox.
Okay. Blake Fox is interesting because it also has a reasonable chance to discover armor cards, like we saw with the shield block from earlier. It's like going up to 10.
Yeah. It's positions like this where it always feels like your hand is so good, but it's just, it takes forever to play everything, so you kind of wish you did have the, ability to use one just one for cheap stuff.
And Purple, even though he has Zalae at pretty low life total, is kind of running out of stuff.
Yeah, so remember, Purple followed the same suit of Strife Grow, taking out Acolyte of Pain, taking out Harrison Jones, Azling a Soul Thief. These are all like resource generation opportunities for Purple.
Yeah.
If that's, Super Collider instead was Acolyte, he'd be able to set up some card draw opportunities. That being said, this is still a very decisive tempo swing.
Unity, precision,
and life gain opportunity. I mean, Purple effectively went back to full life here.
Yeah.
And he knows about the Heist Baron Togwaggle, needs to kill off his lackey. It's not wasted damage. Plus, it doesn't change the break points whatsoever.
Yeah.
Another bomb being drawn.
And no way in hand outside of Leroy to deal with this Omega Devastator.
Oh, wait. I kind of realized something just now. I was like, if he picks the one just one, he might draw the bombs. So that's probably another reason to consider.
Well, he only had 3 bombs at that point with like 20-something cards.
I know. It's just one thing that at this point,
20 life.
I was thinking about like what can Heist Baron Togwaggle give him out. So I'm like, well, if he wonders once, I'm like, he doesn't want to draw a bomb. But it made me think that maybe in the previous setup, maybe Zalae was okay with his hand and felt like he didn't want to give bomb opportunities to Purple.
Yeah.
So that's probably the clarification of perhaps why that ended up panning out that way.
Yeah.
Blink Fox owns it picking up an Overlord's
So many
Whip.
options.
Needs to do something a little bit better than that. Piloted Reaper.
Oh, that works kind of against him because he gets rid of some of value in hand. So now has to...
I think he has to Cabal Lackey into Ethereal Peddler into a Sap. I think that's his best option at his disposal.
He can backstab Leroy.
Oh, backstab Leroy too. So.
That's a guaranteed way to survive, but also like the biggest loss, right? But still survives. And another bomb.
Another one.
So I think with this Clockwork Goblin, it'd be 3.
Yeah, and if I'm Purple, I'm even contemplating using Super Cloud to the face.
Just to set up for like a guaranteed 3-turn almost,
right.
Outside of some crazy Blink Box Hench Clan Burglar.
Because it means that Purple will just naturally kill off.
The Heist Baron Togwaggle.
Ah, okay. Yep. That's fair. That's fair.
Still sticking minions on board. That's a big thing. Dodges a bomb again. Does have mana to get a treasure. But unfortunately is 1 mana off from being able to play a treasure. I was thinking maybe Blink Fox needed to come down first. Because now he has 4 mana to work with, and he needs to pick up something that deals a damage.
Well, no, he can play the Togwaggle right now and still play the treasure.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He can.
Yeah, because the Shadow Step discount.
For some reason, I counted that he was 1 mana off from being able to play it. That's why I thought Purple killed the Faceless last turn.
Is this a situation where you Kobold? I
Oh,
think
the
so.
taunt!
Yeah, you need the taunt. Plus, your hand's not that great, so you want to replace it right now with something more impactful. Maybe he finds Nozari, the Time Dragon. Wait, he gets...
Whizbang,
Guys.
Houndmaster, another Togwaggle, and Malagos.
Well, another Togwaggle is fantastic. Purple is so close to killing his opponent. If he had a little bit more armor.
What now?
Brawl.
Probably.
If your opponent has a handful of legendary minions, chances are legendary minions can't be played more than 1 or 2 minions anyways.
Yeah. So he has time. He's got lots of time. unless it's something like Nazari, as you mentioned, or
Right.
he got like 3 Ziliacs. And keep in mind, this is only the Golden Kobold's different from kind of similar effects from the past, like the Golden Monkey, for instance.
Yeah.
It only changes your hand into legendaries. It does not change your deck into legendaries. So Zalae will still draw natural cards from his deck, and he still has the bombs in his deck.
Well, Zalae hoping that one of the big minions survive, preferably the Golden Kobold. Oh well. That 1 damage surviving is massive. That was so big for purple. He needed to win the outcome of that brawl. He did. Zalae has no. He picked up Ziliax.
What? The ding.
Ding. Purple can't see it.
He's still not out of the woods yet. That's the thing, because he's got to find a way to kill purple before he draws a bomb.
Right.
Because even with the Ziliax, he's still going to be at 4 health. Purple has the answer to Ziliax in hand with just armor up, shield slam. So
Right.
he has 2 bombs in the deck out of 12 cards.
And Zalae, it's in his best interest to develop for tempo a 2nd card too, so he doesn't even get to kill off the full board here.
Yeah, probably Ziliax, Houndmaster Shaw.
Yeah, I think Shaw makes the most sense here.
I don't think Dagger Up is worth it to kill off the 1/1. You got to kind of take the risk. Not that that's a huge risk, because what's a 1/1 going to do? It would give him lethal through like Armor Up, Shield Slam, Wrench, Caliber, but who cares?
Choose soon.
Unity, precision, perfection.
Not going to give the card draw to purple. Wants the trade to happen on his terms. Another Super Collider. That's a dead card. Remember, there's still bombs in the deck for Zalae. This game could end at any turn.
Yeah, and purple can do a weird setup again where he armors up Shield Slams, puts him to 2, and then equips a Super Collider to have guaranteed lethal over 2 turns. That's kind of funny again.
Zalae has played that tempo Harrison Jones. Does not worry about equipping this weapon.
There's no life triggers left for Zalae, I believe, importantly. And there's the bomb. Felt like it was a matter of time before he was going to draw that. He dodged it for like 5 turns in a row.
Wow.
Purple ties it up.
Very close back and forth. And, you know, it wasn't really like the Super Collider tech that helped him. In fact, Super Collider just was a Light's Justice for the most part.
A worse Light's Justice, 1 less durability.
It was the fact that Purple's normal game plan of being able to put on bomb pressure was still enough to make the Rogue sweat a little bit.
Yeah.
And, you know, Zalae, he had like, I feel like almost everything went according to plan, right? He got like insane value. He was able to generate a lot of tempo, but just took a little bit too much damage, didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
So he had to bail halfway through his value plan and then died anyways. This is something that rogues have to really struggle with, and why I think it's a very skill testing version of this class.
Yeah.
That you bring this shark water rogue, you have to weigh how greedy you'd really need to be.
Well, the biggest deal was kind of Zalae's opening hand. He had almost nothing to do.
That's true. Geppetto, Joy Buzz, Heistbear, Tog, Woggle,
Yeah.
a shark.
Yeah, he did have Hench Clan Burger on board, but after that, he just had pretty much nothing. And honestly, yes, you have a ton of value. You can go for the value game plan, but you also need to make sure you're pressuring at those important junctures to not give your opponent time to play those big stuff. Like we look back to game 1, Purple just didn't have time to do anything because it was just an Edwin on 6, Spirit Shark, Coin, 10-10. And those are the types of plays that you have to make to give yourself time to play for the value game.
Yeah, it also makes sense too because Zalae does not have like the eviscerates in his deck, so even drawing deeper into the deck with the Wondrous Ron makes more sense the more I look at it. So you know, we'll see if he can pick it up for game number 3, and whether or not the Barista and the Shark will be able to propel this Water Rogue to victory.
One night, I was called on to scry. But what is this symbol I spy? It's my own crystal ball. Yes, I'll answer the call. And the others will come by and by. That's right. We be calling a team in. The Masters of Platin. and scheming. By this candle a-glowing, I surely be knowing whose gold will be once more a-gleaming.
My name is Patra Cadness, and my Battle.net tag is Patra. Being in Grandmasters means a whole lot to me, and I feel like I've realized it more now actually being here and seeing everything that's happened. I'm looking forward to, of course, facing all the players because I feel like it's a good experience for me to grow as a player. I do think that, yeah, I'm one of the weakest players in this tournament. Like, I would say I'm an underdog. I just want to represent my country very well, and I want to represent, you know, anybody else basically supporting me. I just hope I do a good job. I have goals for different things. Like, I have goals for my social media, trying to get like this amount of followers by the end of the year. And for Hearthstone, I'd love to not be last in GMs. I want to stick around as long as I can. I just want to show everybody that I love the game so much, and I hope that the audience is happy with all the players that Blizzard has selected, and I hope they enjoy the show.
One game apiece, locked in, Zalae versus Purple. The winner of this next game will be the winner of the series. Who's going to take it? Kind of on the fence here. I feel like based off of how that game panned out in number 2, TJ, it was not the Dr. Boom Mad Genius, it was the bomb plan. So maybe we should revise the overall general strategy of this warrior to just draw the bombs.
Yeah, now it's because Dr. Boom Mad Genius, I don't know if it does well against just a board full of giant things. I do think the bomb plan has like a higher win percentage if we broke it down. But I just love this matchup now because there's so many crazy things that this rogue can do, and the warrior's just kind of along for the ride. That are saying, I'm just going to try and put bombs in your deck and hope you draw them. That's what I'm doing. And the rogue's like, I'm going to try and do everything. I'm going to draw cards and create legendaries. Take spells from other classes. Take spells from your class. Draw more cards.
Yeah.
Eat minions from my deck and then spit them into my hand. And then you know what? I'm going to play them again and copy them all back.
Gross.
Disgusting.
Yeah, rogue players are ugh. Ugh. Going to game number 3 here, Purple sticking on that one copy of Acolyte of Pain's Lay. I mean, this hand outside these SI7 agent is a reasonable keep. Oh, chooses instead to dish a Novice Engineer. Okay. So the SI7, I was like, well, it's not something that you really want to play on the curve. It's not something that you're going to want to coin out. I feel like I want to fish harder for the Miscreant.
Zalae does like having things on board.
It's true. Maybe he just favors having that 3-mana 3/3 on 3. And when you hear it all the time on a stream. You want to play your minion so that it's in play. You want him in the face so he has less life. You want to kill him so he's dead. And that does end up playing a pretty significant factor if you can curve out, which was the problem with his previous game was he didn't actually have a curve starting until like turn 4. So maybe having one turn earlier is going to make the difference maker. Maybe.
Maybe. Not the highest value hand has Leroy and Sea Giant, which Not what you'd want to see, but Hench Clan Burglar, Spear of the Shark, he's like a couple Q draws away from having a blowout like he did in game 1 with like Edwin Van Cleef, which with the coin would be incredible on turn 6.
Yeah,
for the 10-10
or 7 or 8. I mean, it's all really good.
Yeah,
turn 6 onwards.
Go for like a 32-32 Edwin.
And then he just dies to Big Game Hunter. Unplayable.
Unplayable.
Raid Dagger.
Whoa.
Does not want to. I mean, if he played the 3/3, he knows that he's walking into potential Wrench Caliber Militia Commander. But by doing this, he gives Purple the ability to just develop this 3/3. So
this is weird.
He's trying to play around stuff, but by doing so, gives Purple sort of what he wants, which is the ability to develop this Clockwork Goblin freely without any ramifications. So I wonder if this is gonna backfire here against Zalae.
It's kind of weird. I was thinking maybe he's like trying to set up for Spear to the Shark with Acolyte of Pain on the board so that it wasn't guaranteed killed by Dynamatic, but I don't like the idea behind that play. So I don't know. Just deciding to take it really slow, even though it didn't pan out for him in the last game.
Execute. A way to deal with big priority targets. Ziliax is probably the thing that you're afraid of. Actually, you're also very afraid of the possibility that Dynamatic comes down and then your opponent just draws a bunch of cards. But then if they have Dynamatic, then they can't answer your Shark easily. I think I still like Execute just as a more guaranteed option.
Taking some damage.
Oh, man. Oh, boy.
Oh.
Unity. Precision.
That Dynamatic is a good draw for Purple in the future turns.
He had the option to go for it there, but the awkward part is
there's 6 life on board.
There's 6 life on board. Now, the ideal scenario would be it hits his Acolyte twice and the Hench Clan Thug 3 times.
Right.
But then if it hits his Acolyte 3 times and the Hench Clan Thug twice, then yes, he draws 3 cards, but then he leaves a 4-1 on board.
Right. It's a 50% chance for it to go completely disastrous.
Yeah.
To be completely
Well, drawing 3 cards is not completely disastrous.
Well, in terms of the fighting back for tempo.
In terms of, yes, in terms of tempo.
As the 7 agent pays off in this spot. Purple has the Militia Commander ready to go. Another Town Crier to pick up the 2nd Commander. Zalae is falling further and further behind on board.
And looks like he's struggling to find a place to play the Spear of the Shark because his stuff is so expensive.
Yes, very much so. But they're all cool cards.
Hell yeah, they are, Dan.
Maybe we can Ethereal Peddler discover something that's really useful as a spell. Looks like Zalae instead prioritizing the life gain and the tempo that's given through the Ziliax. But he knows that Purple has another rush minion.
Purple rolling his eyes at the Execute.
Yeah, because I mean, he wanted to draw more cards off of it. Card draw is probably the biggest concern for Purple. And not having it means that he is pretty much stuck with whatever he has right now, versus Zalae has a lot of upside. Okay. So now Zalae has the opportunity to Spear the Shark Blink Fox or Spear the Shark Ethereal Lackey. Could also just tempo his Harrison out like he's been doing the previous games.
Yeah, Spear the Shark, Ethereal Lackey, and Blink Fox next turn had some merit, but hand size might be an issue if he doesn't play anything.
Backstab can be used now.
Eviscerate.
Cheap Shot also is interesting, but I think Viscerate's just universally better. Or am I not thinking about Betrayal enough? I feel like I've been seeing enough players utilize Betrayal to the point where it makes me think that I should be considering it more often. In fact, if Zalae played Betrayal, he would have been able to save this backstab.
Now, I don't know that I like the clear on these minions.
Because of this.
Because of this. He hasn't played a Dynamatic this game. He's been holding on to cards in the far left.
Right. He would have had 6 health on board, I
Whether
believe.
yes, he would have. He could have traded 1 in, then he would have had 3 health.
On the Shark,
on the Shark,
+2.
+1/+2.
So the Dynamatic's not guaranteed.
And even beyond that, if you account for Warpath, sure, Warpath my board, because you're also killing your board. And now I have these extra spells in hand that I can use.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I necessarily like the clear there.
So if he get Spirit of the Rhino plus Charge plus Sea Giant, it's immune.
Sweet. Now we just need to get a couple more Blink Foxes, get a charge.
Okay, in a more serious moment, Goblin Lackey gives it Rush. So then you could play Evil Miscreant, Goblin Lackey, Spirit of the Rhino. I don't think Zalae is in a position where he gets to bargain whether or not he wants to be greedy with his Barista. No Goblin Lackey.
Choose soon.
Perhaps the Ethereal Peddler? Or Ethereal Lackey?
That's a bummer for me, Dan, because I really wanted to see Spirit of the Rhino come into action here.
It's definitely one of the more awkward spirits. Spirit of the Bat? Spirit of the Rhino? What is happening? Perfect betrayal and positioning. But Super Collider could still hit the Spirit of the Bat. Actually, I think the way Zalae might have considered this is put the Spirit of the Rhino next to the Blink Fox, because the Spirit of the Bat surviving is actually fairly nice. Because then, for you who don't know, Spirit of the Bat is a 2-mana shrine from Raskon's Rumble that every time a friendly minion dies, give a random minion in your hand +1/+1 stats.
Mm-hmm.
So that one's much more useful than the Rush, because the Spirit of the Rhino, he doesn't have any Rush minions in his hand.
Yeah.
So I would have liked it to position it in case Super Collider did come down, and then he'd use the Blink Fox to attack and kill the Bat. That said, very, very, very minor case, and it's not relevant here.
Now he just needs the Spirit of the Shark to complete the trifecta.
That's right.
And then
it's morphin' time!
And then evolve
Rhinosaurus!
Then we need the White Ranger, the Spirit of the Tiger.
Spirit of the Tiger. Oh, man. There's no Spirit of the Triceratops and the T-Rex.
Triceratops is the Rhino. It's close enough.
All right, fair enough, yeah. You got me.
The Bat is the Pterodactyl. Look at it.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, the Phoenix would be the Pterodactyl.
Is there a Spirit of the Phoenix? Dragonhawk.
Dragonhawk, whatever.
Viscerate, Walk the Plank, and Sap. Viscerate does get the job done. And I think this is probably where, if I'm Zalae, I'm dropping the Barista.
Yeah.
You get Miscreant, you get the Ethereal, and the Faceless Lackey. Oh, no. Oh, it's a combo.
Yeah,
you're right.
Combo.
Oopsie daisies.
Spirit of the Shark has spoiled us, Dan, because it says combos and battle cries.
You're right. That being said, it's still good for the tempo, and I think Zalae has learned greed, while it is normally very fun to indulge in, can also be the downfall.
Yeah, the problem is he's taking a lot of damage.
Oh,
he's at 10. He's at 7 on board. With 2 bombs in his deck currently. Oh, wait, no, there was an Eleg on board, so 3 bombs in his deck currently. With 4 bombs if he swings with the Wrench Caliber.
I want purple to go for some very big board clear, and then, like, let's say he brawls, and then Spirit of the Bat survives, and then, or is that the Spirit of the... Yeah. And then, it just, like, buffs everything in his hand.
Wait, is it?
Fun. I was actually thinking Spirit of the Dragonhawk. I can't tell.
I think it is. It's Spirit of the Dragonhawk.
It is.
We were talking about Spirit of the Bat the whole time. It's purple.
Well, it was hard to see because it was stealth.
It was
stealth,
honest. But now that it's unstealth.
So it is the Pterodactyl.
What does Spirit of the Bat even look like?
A bat?
Yeah, but it's art. Come on, Dan.
It's art.
Stay with me here.
Art looks like a bat. I don't know what you want from me. I can't describe it. It's a bat that has a ghostly figure.
Thanks, Dan.
Another bomb.
Yep, so it's 4 in the
Another
deck, I
fade.
believe. But Blastmaster Boom in hand, plus a Warpath, so if Zalae develops nothing here, he's dead. That's
Great.
funny.
Ethereal Lackey. Probably the next setup here.
It's the Spirit of the Bat!
No, it's Spear of the Dragonhawk again, by the way. This is actually just becoming pretty funny.
From nothing, power.
Togwaggle Scheme.
Ooh.
I think Sprint here is probably what Zalae's thinking, though.
Yeah, 7 mana, die. I love Sprint. One of my favorite cards.
Okay, so Togwaggle Scheme means that he's just stuck with what he's got and he has to shuffle it in. Sprint means that
if he dodges bombs. All right, well, now Purple can go for the Blastmaster Boom Warpath. And,
yeah, I mean, I totally get why. Sprint to your death is not a very appealing option, but
now the question is, does he Warpath? Because it's not like a guaranteed lethal or anything. The bombs could end up hitting the 3 health minions. And he does have Brawl next turn. Uh-oh, there's one. 3 bombs left.
guess it's good he didn't pick up Sprint. Shadow Step.
Let's see, he's 1, 2, 5, 7, 19 damage. Whew, he's close. He's not. He's not close at all, dude.
Definitely not enough here. Maybe
many options.
a Shadow Step on the Peddler. Oh, this would be an interesting Vanish setup, actually. If Zalae got Vanish. No, it's kind of the same thing if he vanishes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, can he vanish and, like, set up a situation where his hand is full and then stop the bomb and develop? But I don't think he can.
Choose
Well,
soon.
the nice thing...
Well played.
Yeah, all right. Zalae's just going to shake his head, not going to even try to go for it. Purple takes 2 games in a row.
Wow.
And closes out the series with another Warrior victory. And, you know, we thought that all this green with the Grawl, the Barista, the Geppetto, but it ended up being dead. And, you know, Harrison just ended up never connecting.
Yeah.
But more importantly, the bomb plan did.
Incidentally, it's like in the first few weeks when the Rogue players were not teching for Warrior, they were beating it. And now that the Rogue decks are teching for Warrior and playing greedier lists, that they're losing to it.
Right, that's
It's
so
a very
weird.
interesting dynamic.
Well, it's because I think that the Warriors are also more in tune with what he's trying to do. So, for example, we mentioned at several points that Zalae was conceding the board early because he doesn't want Purple to have, like, the ideal hand, but then Purple gets to play his what he wants to do, which is, like, play Clockwork Goblin on 4, even that's mana efficient, and grab the board tempo that way, and then keep Militia Commander for anything that he's going to develop afterwards.
Yeah.
And that just, like, plays directly into what the normal game plan of what Warrior wants to do, shut down the Rogue.
And because Purple had this tertiary deck that was like, it looked like it was designed for like mages, it cut some cards that ended up not being that useful against Zalae's tertiary deck, and so it kind of worked out for him. Having that second Brawl, even though the Super Clouder was a Light's Justice, it came through. It got there. It was an extra weapon that helped him get there.
I'm saying
that's the funny thing.
I wouldn't mind having Azleen Soul Thief if your opponent just plays a bunch of Shark Lackey situations and just like being able to copy it.
But that wasn't how he won.
That's
so.
not how he won, nor did he need that whatsoever. Purple is joining us for a quick winners interview. Purple, are you there?
Hi, Brodan. Yes, I am.
What's up, man? So got your second win. Second week didn't exactly go, I think, as planned. Did anything change going from week 2 to week 3 here for you?
Well, I didn't prepare with Zalae this week, so I'm going to shift all the blame for him for last week, as I was not proficient enough with Mage.
But But Warrior, you felt like you were very comfortable overall. Were you trying to make that same read that I think Shrifko was talking about? You anticipated a lot of rogues coming in. You thought that, or sorry, you were anticipating
not
mages coming
Yeah,
in.
that's
You
what
thought
Shrifko
Warrior
said.
was good.
To an extent, I think there's a popular myth that mage beats warrior, and I like the whole super collider big game hunter thing against mage actually does work, but the key to making that work is actually having 1/2s in play or a slam. Because when you make 8/8 7/8, super collider doesn't kill both, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you just have like a slam, you're not cutting all the 1-drops like a big dummy like everyone's been doing. You actually just win the matchup, and so like I didn't care. Warrior beats rogue, warrior beats hunter, warrior beats mage. Warrior's the best class in the game.
Wow. Okay. I like that. Very strong opinions and front facing. I like it. How funny was it that he kept getting Spear of the Dragon Hawk, by the way? I saw that you were kind of giggling. And even the Spear of the Rhino.
I don't think it mattered too much. It did not impact the game. Like I'm sitting on a second brawl, the Warpath to kill any 2-drop in the game. I'm pretty sure. I was just trying to clear up over and over again to make the Blastmaster powerful. Yeah. Game 2 was the exciting one with the. I was monk-assing for the Nazari.
Yes, that's exactly what we were thinking. Yeah.
Where he could have just won that game out of nowhere. This a very unorthodox pick, but Zalae's a thinker. Zalae's good. There's actually just almost no outs if he goes. He could have got exactly Ziliax, but the Golden Monkey actually gave him a fighting chance. The 6/6 on board against my 2-card hand was very powerful.
Yeah,
and got out to a great unorthodox play.
Yeah, he definitely thought of some really cool impromptu decisions. I guess my last question, for at least my end, is do you have any opinions on Zalae's deck list, having the Barista, the Grawl, the Geppetto as the tertiary deck going up against Warrior?
The whole thing of playing against Warrior is that you're scared of getting grinded out. And so you can take two approaches. One, you go more all in, or two, you can go for value. If it's control warrior, the value thing is a good plan, but against bombs, like any slow plan is kind of working in the bomb warrior favor, where eventually they draw Blastmaster, or eventually you draw bomb. And rogues always had the problem since the game started of having sustain. Life drinkers and Ziliax, and cutting life drinker is actually significant to the matchup, where I was more afraid of playing against the primary again. I think the whole waggle pick into life drinker thing is like a good way to win the matchup. The value plan, if no bomb cards are ever drawn, like maybe you get to grind them out. But I had an easy decision based on like it was very obvious what deck he was going to queue second to go with just the deck with the second brawl. The only way he's ever winning a game is if Headwind sticks.
Yeah, well, that's how game one
yeah.
ended up with that chonky boy coming out to play.
Yeah.
All right, any questions for Purple here, TJ?
Kind of on your last point, how close were you to switching back to your primary deck? Because you mentioned like you were scared of his primary deck because if he goes back to waggle picks and you're stuck with no weapons projects, kind of a rough spot. How close were you to switching back in game 3?
Not at all. Even if he wants the mind game, go back to the first deck, which is a very reasonable choice. He can't actually know what I'm doing because I've like all the same cards, and he'll never be able to figure out what deck I'm playing. Yeah. So if he wants the meta game, then he's gonna have to go blindly on a read that I didn't switch back myself. So he doesn't really get himself anywhere. So say he just wants to, he switches back, he goes turn for waggle pick. Can he make that play? I don't think he can.
All right, fair enough. Straightforward. Good logic there, Purple, and it worked out for you. Congrats on your win, and good luck. We'll see you later this weekend.
Thank you, Dad. Thank you, DJ.
All right, so Purple, when he comes down and he gets serious, you can see just a little bit of that brilliance that he very humbly hides under his very joking and trollish manner.
Yeah.
Purple, very intelligent, and Zalae, I think, even though it didn't work out in his favor, I don't think it's necessarily something with his technical play. I think it could be just overall, maybe Purple's onto more of the ideology, which is like, You know, instead of maybe just thinking about how to outgreed the warrior, just kill him faster.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, an easy trap for many people to fall into. Like, they think if I'm going up against a slow defensive deck, I need to be even greedier, which and coincidentally plays into the bomb warrior's hands.
Yeah, it's I don't think players have kind of fully realized the differences between the control warriors that we saw at the beginning of Rise of Shadows and now pretty much just bomb warriors that we're seeing throughout the last 2-3 weeks almost, with no control warriors being brought at all to Americas across 3 weeks. So we'll see the evolutions as weeks progress.
A lot of questions being brought up, but there's only one answer, and that purple is going to be victorious 2-1. So that does it for our second match. Our third one coming up next is another big clash between two titans. We have Firebat, 2014 World Champion, going up against Muzzy from the USA. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.